Hey there, gamers. If you saw my community post or watched my Fire Emblem 4 live stream for Christmas, then you know I got sick recently. In fact, I am still sick at the time of recording. I used to not get sick very often, but I don't know if I can say that anymore. As I've gotten older, my disability has started acting up more, which feels like taking sick days. And a couple of years ago, there was a global event that I still don't think we're allowed to talk about on YouTube, but it resulted in me being bedridden for 2 weeks, and ever since then, my immune system has been noticeably weaker than it was in my youth. Part of that might just be getting old, though, if we're being honest. But because of this sickness, my video output has kind of crawled to a slow this week. Originally, I planned to have a Fire Emblem 4 tier list, as well as a video about when good art is made by bad people, both uploading on Monday and Friday. But I delayed in completing these videos, and unfortunately my sickness caught up to me, so I had nothing to post for the Monday or Friday slots. But as I've been laying in bed with clogged sinuses, I've been thinking about it, and this might be a little bit fortuitous. I was already considering taking a bit of a break in January, having a much lighter month, because as much as I take pride in being able to claim daily videos, between the live streams, let's plays, and 2 long-form videos a week, it's also taking a huge toll on me. There's a good chance that this sickness is at least in part brought on by me physically pushing myself in order to get videos out in a timely manner, but there's also the emotional burden that comes with it. I feel like I put a lot of pressure onto myself in order to get these videos out, both in a timely manner for the main channel and also early for my patrons. Ideally, I want to have the Friday videos, as I call them, finished a week before they go live. That way I can give them to the Patreon patrons and the YouTube members early as something of a reward for the money that they're giving me. And I recognize that Patreon and YouTube memberships are a little bit different than a traditional product being purchased. The majority of people are, at least to some degree, donating money in order to support me rather than with the expectation of specific rewards in exchange. But I do also advertise the Patreon and the membership with rewards. I want to feel like I'm giving a good value rather than just taking money and putting out the minimum effort that I can. And so if a project ends up taking longer than I expected, I stress out over the fact that I can't have it up early, or in some cases, barely even get it in time for the main channel. December was where I wanted to put all of my big projects. Part of this was because, as people may be aware, YouTube ad revenue is very high in December and very low in January. So if I have a video that I think is going to get more views than my average thing, it makes sense to put it in December from a financial perspective. This is what happened with the Thracia tier list. I actually finished it 2 months early, but I didn't upload it until December because I figured that that would be a bit of a view grabber, and it was more successful than some of my other Monday videos. But beyond the financial incentive, I also just want people to see my stuff, and I figured that putting stuff out in December when a lot of people in the United States are going to be on holiday from university, and even adults often have time off from work, would be the best time to release some of my larger videos. The Lord's video is the project I put the most work into out of anything I've put on YouTube, and I really wanted people to see it, and they did. That was actually a very successful video for me. I'm very happy with how it turned out, both as a product and in terms of public perception to it. But a 3.5-hour video about Fire Emblem is a big ask, and I figured people on vacation would be more likely to watch it than those who are dealing with work and school and whatever other responsibilities they have. In that same vein, I had a couple of other very large videos that I wanted to put out in December, and while I was able to release the Fire Emblem 7 video, my Bug Fables review, and the Christmas special that I had planned about 3 houses, It became apparent to me as December started coming to an end that I wasn't going to be able to complete my other big projects, at least not on the timeline that I wanted to. I resisted this realization at first, pushing myself even harder than I should have, staying up later than I should have, working myself for more time than I should have, and neglecting other responsibilities. And this just made the problem even worse. Not only did I not have time for the big projects, but it seemed unlikely that I would be even able to scramble and get something filler out for Friday. And then I realized that I was sick. I don't know when I got sick. It definitely was sooner than I realized it. I figured it out on the way home from the grocery store. I was feeling lightheaded, and I'd just been pushing myself too far. It's weird, because, in a lot of ways, I am in an incredibly privileged position. I don't work a traditional job because my wife's income is enough that I just need to supplement it using YouTube and DoorDash money. As a result of that, I am able to set my own schedule, and because I care so much about making my YouTube channel have the quality that I want it to have, I treat YouTube like it's a full-time job. I work on it from 6 to 10 hours on any given day, and usually between 5 and 7 days a week, although some of that work includes the time spent streaming. I do technically have deadlines and responsibilities. Like I said, I feel an obligation to get work out for my patrons because they are paying me. And the YouTube algorithm itself rewards regularity in posting. But a lot of the pressures that I feel are pressures that I put on myself. I don't want to compromise in the release schedule because I take pride in saying that I do daily videos. And I don't want to compromise in the quality because I want to make the sort of content that I would watch, and I don't really enjoy content farm-esque videos. And as a result, the thing that I compromise on is my own health, my own time. That's the risk that you run being your own boss. Back when I worked more traditional jobs, if my boss ever asked me to work extra hours or push myself beyond what a healthy work amount was, I would stick my foot down. I had boundaries, and I'm able to maintain them with other people, but it's harder to hold yourself accountable to yourself. With this in mind, the burnout from YouTube was inevitable, and I thought I had a handle on things. I was planning on taking a lighter month in January, but it seems like it caught up to me sooner than I expected it to. It's been a tumultuous year for me in my personal life. Some of that has tied into YouTube, some of that is just life in general, some of that is my disability acting up some more, and some of that is just, it's December, and this is the season where people get more depressed. So, with all of that in mind, I am going to be dialing things back on the channel. Rather than force myself to make a Friday video and a Monday video every week, I'm going to focus on making sure that the videos I do want to make are of a quality to match the standard that I would like on this channel. I do have an idea of what my big projects in the future are. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I have a partway finished Fire Emblem 4 tier list, and I do want to complete that relatively soon. There's also a couple of videos that my patrons voted on that will be coming soon. They wanted me to make a tier list of the FE6 maps, as well as a video about dancers, similar to my Lord's video trying to find the worst dancer in the franchise. I thought that would be an interesting vehicle to talk about another incredibly common class type. I've also been working on a video about Fire Emblem Fates Revelation. I think that I'm one of the people who's played FE Fates Revelation the most out of anyone in the world. I just pump back-to-back-to-back playthroughs. I have a problem. I am addicted to this game. I do not know why. It is my favorite Fire Emblem game now. Previously, I had Conquest at number 1, but I think I can confidently say that Rev is my favorite Fire Emblem game in the franchise. Like I said, there's something wrong with me. But part of why I've been pumping out so many playthroughs where I'll beat the game and then immediately start it up again, and then beat the game and immediately start it up again over the course of like a day or two each playthrough, is I've been rotating my team out, and at time of recording, I have used every character in both Generation 1 and Generation 2 of Fire Emblem Fates in at least one full playthrough where they end up on the final team on the final map of the game. And for most characters, I've used them in multiple playthroughs using different builds depending on what the playthrough is. And the reason I've been doing that is I want to make a tier list for Fire Emblem Fates Revelations, but I don't just want to throw characters on a tier in order and talk about them. I like to think that my tier lists get more in-depth and informational than just ranking people, but with a game like Fire Emblem Fates Revelations, there is so much to talk about with each unit. And so if I'm going to make a tier list where I hold myself to the standard of going in depth and giving a complete picture for all of these units, it's going to be my longest and probably most work-intensive video yet. I've done a lot of the backlog in terms of research and making graphics to represent each unit in the cast, listing out their class access, what fast supports they have, what bonuses they give in both guard stance and attack stance, various things like that. And I have a ton of notes written down for routing and builds to take advantage of if you want to use them in your playthrough. And I do think that despite how unbalanced Rev's cast is, every single unit in the cast is viable and usable, and all of them in multiple ways. And with a cast as large as Revelations, if I'm going to talk about all of the different ways you can use each unit and give them all a fair shake, I'm probably going to have to give each unit 30 minutes, an hour. It's just a lot, right? Now, I don't know what the video length limit is on YouTube. Live streams won't get archived if they're over 12 hours, but I've seen some fully made videos that are uploaded that are longer than 3 days, so you can have some ridiculously long vids on this platform. Now, hopefully I don't ramble for multiple days about the units in Revelations, so I think we're safe in terms of this meeting YouTube's size limitations. But the reason that I talk about how big this video is going to be, how long I imagine it being, is that I want to start working on it, but if I do, then the more regular content is going to have to slow down. I foresee, instead of having 2 long-form videos a week, I have 1 every 2 or 3 weeks as a more reasonable thing to reach. And if I'm slowing down the long-form content, I need to address something that has kind of been a specter on the channel for a while. I got my start on YouTube doing Let's Plays. I did a 0% growths of Fire Emblem 9, then I did 0% growths Fire Emblem 4, I did the Heart Seal swap of Fate's Conquest, 0% growths Fire Emblem Awakening, and so on and so forth. While my 4th series was uploading, I started adding streaming to the retinue. But when Fire Emblem Engage came out, I decided I wanted to make a video about the character of Rosado. And it did really well. Then I decided I wanted to do a video on a theoretical personal skills for Fire Emblem 4. And that did pretty good too. And I don't know what it is that made me start doing them, but I started releasing more long-form content every Friday. And naturally, these sorts of videos are going to perform better than Let's Plays. I love the Let's Plays, I love making them, but there's a smaller audience for them than for what I could refer to as video essays. I fucking hate that phrase, but I don't really know what else to call the Friday videos. I could say scripted content, but I don't write scripts because I can't do scripts, I just can't. Unfortunately though, the Let's Plays, as much as I love them, are holding the long-form videos back. YouTube's algorithm is better than people give it credit for, but one area where it really has a weakness is if you make content directed at different groups of people. The Let's Plays are directed at one groups of people, and the more analytical videos that I put out every week are directed at a much larger group. And unfortunately, all that YouTube sees is that both of these videos are coming from my channel. As a result of that, it views the Friday videos as incredibly successful, but then sees that I release 4 more significantly less successful videos in my Let's Plays before releasing another successful one. And since it's going off of how successful previous videos have been, it's not going to promote my long-form videos as much as it would if there weren't any Let's Play episodes there. I don't want to stop making Let's Plays, but I can't keep uploading them on the channel, especially if there's going to be more prolonged gaps in between the more successful long-form videos. And as a result of that, I am going to be making a second channel purely to contain the Let's Play content. I floated this idea a while back and ultimately decided not to do it because as someone who has less than 10,000 subscribers, it feels like a bit of an ego move, right? Like, I'm not big enough to have earned a second channel, whatever that means. Not only that, but at least initially, it would mean a financial hit for me. Even though the Let's Plays don't get a huge audience, they do still get some views, and like, the little bit of AdSense adds up over time, especially since the only sponsorships I've been offered are brands that I'm not willing to work with on an ethical basis. But I do think that the decision is best for the channel long term. I'm still going to be uploading the Let's Plays, and if I do hit monetization on the second channel, I will monetize them, but otherwise, it's just going to be a place for me to isolate them while still making this content that I am passionate about. I'm not going to migrate any past Let's Plays. Things that are already on the channel are going to stay there, and as far as the ongoing ones are concerned, the FE1 Let's Play is almost finished, so I'm just going to let it finish out on the main channel. But the Path of Radiance Reverse Recruitment playthrough is only a couple of episodes in, so I am going to be migrating that one to the main channel. And for all future playthroughs, what I plan on doing is releasing the first video in the Let's Play on this channel, since it has a larger audience, and all later videos on my second channel, the Danny Doyle Let's Play channel. That way, you can become aware of when a new series and playthrough is starting, but it won't clog up the feed and subscriptions of people who aren't interested in seeing episode 42 of Let's Play number 17. At the time this video goes live, the Path of Radiance Let's Play is up on the second channel. Well, the first few episodes of it anyway. And a TMGC 0% Growths playthrough is going to be starting on that channel as well. So go ahead and check that out, linked in the description, and subscribe to it if that's the sort of content you're interested in. But if you're only here for the more long-form analytical stuff, then I guess just make sure you're subscribed to this. And ring the bell if you want, because I'm not going to have a regular posting schedule anymore. So that's the best way to find out when my videos come out, instead of just knowing they'll be on Friday. I do want to thank everyone for their support and understanding. Hopefully this is a good new direction for the channel, and if it's not, then I can revisit things and tweak things and whatnot. I do want to say thank you to everyone who's supported me, both in terms of subscribing, watching, commenting, just being here for this journey and figuring things out. And, of course, I want to give an extra special thank you to all of my patrons. So, thank you to Eris, Michael Kraus, Len, Gameboo, Karosa, Fyron, Smaz Ruby, Floho Gamer, Lizard Bongwater, Johnny Petrono, Marin McLean, Calamity Callie, Theythong, Andu, Reflect, YLO1, Jamie Collins, Mean Jojo, Thick Molder, Arvis, Tailored Muffin, George Grenville the 7th PM, Flohay, Adele, Gabe the Green, Controlled Aegis, Roman Kormansik, Nick Knack Hammersmack, SUP, Caius Cole, Belwenska, Dysyke, Ginger, Root Beer Pants, Queen Elizam, Aerith Emblem, and especially my Jagans, Justin Robinson, Joshua Ross, Christopher Bueno, Lilzabeth, Autumn Kelsey, and Julia Kyoto. Your support is what motivates me to keep doing this, the best job that I've ever had. With the new content schedule, there are going to be new schedules in terms of early videos for patrons, and I will make a post on the Patreon detailing that. For anyone who is interested in financially supporting the channel, there is a link down below, and you can read up on how the patron benefits change. That post is going to be available to the public. I do think that there are a lot of good benefits to the Patreon, but especially as my content slows down, please only donate if you can comfortably afford to do so. I don't want anyone going broke over Fire Emblem, especially in the December season. There's so many holidays that people have to buy gifts for and whatnot, like, I should be the last financial concern on your mind. But with all of that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay warm, stay safe, and stay happy, gamers. Take care of yourselves, alright?